read stuff or else listen to poets, etc. Because we don't come from nothing, and we're most often, even without realizing it, building on things that others have built before. But we have to, is that, or because Sagan just walked in, I'll do a kung fu meta for Sagan. It's that old Bruce Lee thing. You have to empty your cup in order to fill it. You do absorb all these influences, but then chuck it all out, empty the cup, and just do your own thing. And hopefully that combination of learning and then chucking it all away and just doing what you want to do, that's probably the best combination, I think, for, I don't like the word success, but for realising the artistic vision that you had and materialising it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your question. Any more questions from the audience, please? Okay, thank you very much.
So I'm a millennial on the cusp of being a Gen X, so
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
I was wondering, because obviously you do a lot of work supporting other writers and nurturing other people's careers. How do you find the time to balance the two between writing your own material and supporting other people in their own journeys? And how do the two things inform each other?
That's a great question. I memorised this quote from, I don't even know if I say her name right, but I memorised it from 20 years ago, Sashi Deshpande. And she said, ruthlessness is a prerequisite of an artist. And I think she went on to say, men are more ruthless than women. And that's why men get a lot more stuff out of women, serving others too much. I think that was her point. But if we cut that bit out and leave the first bit, ruthlessness, that I think you do have to have boundaries and say, okay, I don't care what happens. I'm writing for 2 hours every day in the morning. Again, my current hero, Irenison, she writes from maybe, I think, 5 a.m. through 7 a.m, come what may. I know that another person in the audience, Melvin Burgess, sitting there, he was saying that he has about 3 hours of writing that he can do. And these mobile phones and social media and digital technology, they're a curse because it means you can't concentrate as well as you used to. So I think my approach sometimes is just go away, because even though I love the city and most of what I write about is the city, when I go away to the countryside, I used to go to France every year, and there was no mobile reception. Nobody can reach me. Nobody even knows where I am. And then I just write. I just write with a pen and paper, no technology, so that I can't fall into that. And that's the ruthlessness, Adam, that I feel is awful. And I know I can look at faces around in the audience now who are artists, and I can never tell them this, but I'd like them to be more ruthless. That's what I feel, It sounds awful, doesn't it? But I don't mean ruthless in a cruel way. I mean saying, I respect and love myself as an artist enough that I'm going to wall off some time. That's what I feel is important. And it's great for me because I don't know who it is. I've got hearing aids. I just switch them off. Talk as much as you like. I'm not listening, But that's metaphor as well. I focus. And being able to focus. You look at Akin. He's done 20,000 paintings in the last 10 years or so. Yeah, that guy don't let nonsense get in his way. It's a model. And of course, I go back to Sashi Deshpande. That it's a luxury maybe to be so ruthless. If you're a parent, usually a mother with 5 kids, I think of my own mother, she was a kind of frustrated artist, I felt. And she had a lot of things, like she'd paint the walls of our house, all kinds of crazy patterns. I asked her why. She said, well, you kept making them so dirty that I thought, if I just paint them, then your fingerprints just become part of the artwork. She found a way to express herself as an artist. And that, in its own way, is a kind of, not ruthlessness, but it's a way of, like water finding its way. It's a way of realising what you want to do. But yeah, ruthlessness. I won't name names. Ruthlessness. That's what you need.
that focus on your writing means that you can have the space to do other things, so it isn't selfish, because once you can know that you've done your writing, you've also got that space to be a mentor.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay, I think we might be heading towards our last question of the evening. Okay. Yes, please.
I'd like to know how being mixed race might have influenced your writing.
I think that's a great question, and of course I can't remove myself from myself to answer that objectively. I can only answer it from within. But I do feel that I have a natural tendency to hybridity, and that being mixed race, mixed heritage. I mean, one parent Danish, one parent Nigerian, living in England. Being actually, my father came from a wealthy family. My mother, they weren't broke, but we were kind of broke. So that's two classes. There's always kind of multiplicity within me, and I think that's another reason why I chose that structure. That I didn't want to have a kind of uniform existence if I'm in the book as myself. So yeah, absolutely. When I was growing up, coming back to the young person question, when I was growing up as a poet, when I was from 18 to 24 maybe, the poets around me used to say to me, "You have to find your voice." And I was really at first puzzled, and later on contrary about that, because I thought, well, I don't have a single voice. I have voices, and I never liked. That's why I'm not a poet as such. The idea that you have to have this single voice as a poet, I'd never liked it, and so I went into prose and whatever, because you can become more than one person at a time. All the poets are in there ready to argue with me. We can argue later, okay? But I'll just tell you, this is my origin story. That's why I chose prose over poetry. I still do poetry, but whenever I'm writing poetry, I always feel confined by the idea that you have to have one voice to be a poet who's consistently, Roger Robinson, consistently, Malika Booker, consistently. I don't like that, whereas Pete Callow can move around and be all these different people, and that comes from that mixed heritage background, I think. I'm not sure, as I say, I sit inside myself, others can theorise.
Thank you. I think one of the things that's come out of this conversation, and many of us that know you know that you are a natural storyteller in whatever form that takes. So we're all really excited about the book. So I've got an ask of the audience, not just because it's your birthday, but because it's also the book launch. If we could take a photo with everyone waving their book.
Oh, what a great thought. And then look at the book. Moral book if you haven't got one. Can you catch?